Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And we wait for a few notifications for you guys to come on. Happy to see you. Okay, let us talk to Brahim. Good morning, Brahim, our dear friend from Portland, Oregon. Andrea, Niagara Falls, Janice, Brampton, good morning to you. Sandy, Fergus Falls, Minnesota. And let's see here. John, how are you? And Elana, how are you? Fran, Orangeville, good morning. Faye, how is you? And Sandy from Chilliwack, British Columbia. Okay, Keith, how are you? Shirley, Jeanette, nice to have you guys on this morning. Donna from Park Hill. Marianne, how are you from London? Nick from our staff. I'm going to keep it down here just for a sec to see if I can see more people and I'll lift it. Arlene, Sharon, Kansas. Cecilia, Sudbury, good morning. Janine, West Kelowna. Diane, Thunder Bay. Kevin, how are you? Anne, how is you? And Wendy from Markham. Tina. And Sherry. Oh, if I could only sing that. Jeanette, how are you doing? Bonnie. Bonnie says she's always in the clouds. Judy from Mitchell. And Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Grace, good morning from Newfoundland. And Luella from West Tennessee. Carol, Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. Lorraine, how are you? And Rosalinda, Niagara Falls. I didn't see you, Rosalinda, honestly. Donna, Dale, and Frida, how are you? Kathy, Port Perry. John from Wisconsin. Marilyn from Kelowna. Anne, how are you from Kingston? Couple of more guys. Chantal, how are you from Sudbury? Francis from Vaughan. Good morning to you. Donna from Bell Valley. And Dorothy, how is you? Maureen, Penticton, British Columbia. Linda from Uppsala. Marlene, how are you? And Rita, good morning to you. Daphne, Deer Lake, Newfoundland. Carol, Moncton, New Brunswick. And Dave, how are you? Muriel from Hearst, Ontario. Barbara, Doc, McEwen. Rita, Wasaga. Donna, how are you? From Sudbury. And IT, Stouffville. Nancy said I missed her again. Carmel, Newfoundland. Okay, guys. And Barbara, how are you? Bonnie, how are you? From Blenheim. Hazel from St. John's, Newfoundland. Patricia, good morning. And Helga, how are you? Okay, I'm going to go up a little bit here. There we go. Okay, Dave, how are you? I hate to miss anyone, especially you, Sirpa. Okay, Judy, how are you? Jean. Okay, so what I want to do this morning, is talk about, because I get questions about this quite a bit, talking about migraines. Ooh, no fun, huh? Migraines, okay? And I thought, let's break that down a little wee bit. And for those of you that are new to this program, I just got to tell you that one of the things, a couple of things that were consistent with me when I was in practice, very consistent, was questionnaires, okay? So no matter what the condition was, you filled out a questionnaire. I think that was, I wouldn't see a patient, by the way, that hadn't filled out that questionnaire. I just wouldn't do it. Okay? And because that's very important, very, very important. Because you need history, man. And I think that's one of the, I don't know if that's a lost art today where physicians, not everywhere, of course, but a lot of it is, and that's the complaint I get, or I hear about at least, and that is, doctors are not listening to me. Listen, Linda. Listen. Listen, Larry. Okay? Listen to me. My dad used to tell me, listen to your patients because they have inside information. Listen, ask questions. If you ask the right questions, you're going to get information out of a patient. So that's one thing we did in our practice. One, fill out a questionnaire. It had, I don't know, over 100 questions. Sometimes it seemed repetitious to people, but I wanted a good history to go along with the results, the blood work, the testing. Anywho, you can't be, a functional medicine doctor. You cannot be, unless you ask a lot of questions. You need to get information from the patients. Number two is testing. And in my book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, I talked about this yesterday. And remember, okay, because somebody even asked again yesterday, okay? Remember, see that little gold bar right there? That little gold circle? That's to tell you in the book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, and Sleep, and Coffee, I have a section in there on blood work. Guys, that alone is worth the price of this book, okay? I hate to be tooting my horn, but I'm going to toot it. If you don't have this book in your library, you need it. I'll tell you why. Because not only it tells you about the reset, not only does it tell you what the reset will do for you, the metabolic reset, okay? So the book that you see behind me there, the metabolic reset, is in this book. Again. Okay? It's in this book. And Sun, Steak, and Steel. So, in there is the blood work that you need to get done. And what to look for, what to ask your doctor for. And one thing I found out, you don't ask, you don't get. In my office, you got all the testing. In a physician, most physicians, unless you ask, they'll, and some doctors are so in tune, you got a great doctor, good for you. And that's really, but a lot of people don't. Okay, a lot of people they don't have a relationship at all with their doctor. And anyway, I don't want to get into the negativity too much, but only to tell you that you want to know what testing you're getting done. And you want to make sure they do it. I'll give you an example because this will come up even in migraines when we talk about it this morning. I'll go into more detail. You know what? Here's what I found over the years. I'm not saying every condition, but I'm telling you in a vast majority of them, people are deficient in vitamin D. And as we teach the sun and vitamin D supplementation at this time of the year, and I tell you where to get your numbers, to look at those numbers. And unfortunately, a lot of doctors, they never see the connection between vitamin D and your health other than bones. And they are programmed in medical schools generally to be scared skinny of vitamin D. First of all, be scared skinny of the sun and scared skinny of vitamin D supplementation. It's the narrative in medicine today. It's sad because it's very, very deceiving. It's not true. You need vitamin D and you need your levels in your bloodstream to be optimized. Not just, oh, my vitamin D is all right. All right isn't good enough. What they've shown, what they've proven with, I tell you, I always say 150 studies because that's what it was in about 2020. It's got to be over 250 studies on the importance of vitamin D from everything from your brain to your toes. Immune system. Your microbiome even. Wow. Your brain. Vitamin D. But you gotta have to take this into your own hands, folks. Because generally, physicians don't see the connection. They're not reading the research. It's too bad. I wish they would. I wish they would even listen to this. Some do listen to this program. And they are huge proponents of vitamin D and optimizing vitamin D. You know, through the whole virus thing. Had they just given out vitamin D, but oh, I was crying like John the Baptist in the wilderness. And they weren't listening. Oh. Just to be political for a minute. Robert Kennedy Jr., okay, was talking the other day. And let's see if he can do it or not. But he talked about, we're going to, because of the FDA and all this, they're bureaucrats. You can't change anything over there. But he promises to shake it up. And he talked about one thing, vitamin D. The importance of it. I wish I could have gone through my screen to give him a high five. Now, will he be able to change anything? I don't know. I wish I was more optimistic. I don't know. It's hard to go up against a narrative. It's hard people have ingrained cement in their heads to try and change anything. But you guys know better, and I'm thankful for my audience. You're open to change. You're open to getting information. Education, my friend, is power. It's power. And you guys get it. And hallelujah to that. So thankful. Now, why did I start doing this? Oh, yeah. We're talking about migraines. Back on topic. Okay. No, okay, so in my office, okay, it didn't matter what condition, but let's just stick with migraines for a bit. I could almost tell when after they filled out the questionnaire, what the big problem was in people suffering from migraines. I could almost tell. I wasn't 100% sure, but I had a huge clue. Okay? And then testing. And what did I look for? Deficiencies. I look for, are you deficient in B12, vitamin D, magnesium, omega-3? And are you deficient? Do you have leaky gut? All of those things were really, really, really important to me because they were fixable. You could target. Okay, let me tell you what I found over the years, okay? Because I get asked this question. Doc, my daughter has got severe migraines. Doc, I have severe migraines. What do you think the cause is? Okay, so let's go over that. Let's go over that. The number one cause of migraines, okay, the number one cause of migraines, in my opinion, okay, and what I think I can prove, hormones. Hormones. Yep. Not hormones, hormones. You have no idea how many times that people that suffered with migraine headaches, their hormones, they were in a metabolic storm as far as their hormones were concerned. Okay? And a couple of very consistent things that I saw. One, they were big time estrogen dominant. Too much estrogen. Compared to, remember, it's always a comparison. Because people get this wrong. And the reason is because they don't compare it. They're looking at, oh, doc, I had my estrogen levels checked. They're all right. Well, so first of all, blood test for estrogen, I find it's not all that accurate. Urine test better. But anyway, at the end of the day, it's estrogen versus progesterone. Okay? Estrogen, progesterone have to be equal, ladies. And what I noticed in migraines, that estrogen was dominant in comparison to progesterone. Almost invariably. Estrogen dominance. Okay? And what happens there, and this is very important when it comes to migraines and a lot of other things, but really important. When estrogen is dominant and progesterone hasn't kept up, the thyroid slows to a crawl. The thyroid, your gas pedal. Okay? It's your gas pedal in the car. It slows to a crawl. And thus, that is a big factor in migraines. Your thyroid not working properly doesn't mean it's diseased. It means it's not running up to snuff. And you got, with estrogen dominance, you have a hard time converting T4 thyroid hormone to T3, the one that your thyroid needs to work properly. Your thyroid is like a puppet, got a lot of strings attached to it. And it's very finicky. The thyroid is a finicky organ. because it relies on so many different things to be in sync. And one of them especially is your T3, the production of T3. That is, you don't produce a lot of T3, like less than a teaspoon a year. But boy, you better get, and that's why I've said this for a long time. Like the problem with thyroid testing is they don't look at the complete picture of it. Okay? Now, let me see if I have my drawing out. I probably have it somewhere here. Because I got to do this for the sake of, I don't want to have to draw this again. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I have it over here. I might, and if I don't, well, I'll draw it again, okay? And you guys know, I flunked art, okay? Let me see if I got it here. I always think I keep it right in front of me so I don't have to do it again, but I'm going to have to do it again. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, let's do it again. I must tear it out because I always look at it and okay, I'm going to do this, and this. Okay. Can you see that? What does that look like to you? Okay, for the folks that are listening on the podcast, it's my old pyramid, hormonal period. Okay? Not the period ladies get, not menses. I mean, pyramid, not period. Okay? See that? Now, does that look like a pyramid to you? Probably not. Okay? But who cares? I flunked art. I majored in recess. Okay, in school. Okay, so at the bottom, okay, let me see. Can you see that? You got your ovaries. And I always put, when I drew this for patients, estrogen, progesterone have to be equal. Then up here, okay, halfway up the pyramid, okay, these guys on the side, those are your adrenals. Adrenal on top of kidneys. What do they release? Cortisol. Stress has a big effect on your hormones. Okay? Now, at the top, repeat. What is that? That's your thyroid. All of these circles have to be working properly for your thyroid to work properly. Gas pedal, your metabolism. You look at food and gain weight. You just look at it. You don't have to eat it. And you gain weight. And you're sluggish. Your thyroid ain't working properly. And it'll give you a migraine too. It could. Okay? Now the one in the middle. Okay? What's in the middle there? That's your insulin. That's your pancreas. And that only works when you eat. Do you think food is important? Imagine knowing nothing about food. Okay? And Robert Kennedy Jr. said he's going to go after the food companies too. Hallelujah. I'll believe it when I see it. Okay? I'll believe it when I see it. Anyway, I don't want to be skeptical. I want to be an optimist. Okay. Now, back to migraines. When I get a patient in, and we tested all those things, including your insulin, here's what I found. Okay? Here's what I found. Almost invariably. Estrogen dominance, low levels of progesterone. Now, that could be two reasons, the low levels of progesterone. Okay? One of them is the stress hormone, cortisol. Cortisol robs progesterone. Cortisol, you're stressed. Ooh. And today, stress pours gasoline on the fire. And stress robs progesterone. So guess what? Now you got a double whammo. You're stressed. Your progesterone is robbed because you can't even make cortisol without progesterone. Estrogen goes up. Estrogen goes up. Your thyroid don't work properly. Oh, am I giving you a migraine already? Just talking about it? You're stressed. You rob progesterone. You rob progesterone, your estrogen goes up. Estrogen dominance slows your thyroid to a stinking crawl. And cortisol on its own, when it is long-term and prolonged, will affect your pancreas. It will affect, at the cellular level, insulin. It can create insulin resistance on its own. That's why I wrote a book in 2011, Serial Killers, 2 Hormones That Want You Dead. Insulin and cortisol. Cortisol and insulin. In 2011, I wrote that book. Okay. And I was telling you the other day, I should write another book on it. 3 hormones that want you dead. Insulin, cortisol, and estrogen. Estrogen makes you a woman, but makes a man a woman too. We got way too much of it today in men and not enough testosterone. And by the way, this is my finding, just talk to men for a minute. When you don't have enough testosterone, a lot of times you're going to get a migraine. You can get migraines from a lack of testosterone. In combination, usually in men with low levels of vitamin D. Okay, so I know I'm talking too much, but I wanted to give you a little bit of background. Okay, so here's what other findings. So in women, migraines, estrogen dominance, 100%. In my practice, I never saw an exception to it. Numero 2, okay, here's what I found. Generally, dehydrated. They were dehydrated. Okay? Now, hydration, you know me, and vitamin W. How much do you need? 64 ounces or 2 liters. Every day, 64 ounces, 7 days a week, 2 liters of water. You got the memo? It's vitamin W. People walk around because they have no idea. They're extremely dehydrated. And please don't blame coffee. I know everybody wants to. You drink coffee, you better drink 2 bottles of water with it so you don't get dehydrated. I know that's been around for many years. I debunk that. Coffee doesn't dehydrate you. Coffee's good for you. Coffee doesn't. Did you get our email on that? Coffee doesn't dehydrate. Okay. Okay, anyway, here's what I found. Hormones, dehydration, And I love electrolytes. You guys know that. One of the most important electrolytes in terms of deficiency when it comes to migraines, magnesium. They were consistently low in magnesium. And, you know, magnesium does a lot of things in the body. And one thing it does, it relaxes blood vessels. And I found in migraines, yeah, very deficient. Okay? When you're dehydrated, by the way, I was looking at a study the other day. I just got to tell you, they were talking about pain from a migraine, and it says, well, you know what happens? That your dura mater. You know what your dura mater is? It's your, you sort of got a little sac around your brain. Okay? It's a protective sac. And when you are dehydrated, that sac, your dura mater, okay, becomes inflamed. The dura mater becomes inflamed. The little helmet you have on the inside around your brain becomes inflamed. Pain, inflammation, pain. So that's what I saw consistently. Okay, I saw hormones, even in men, low testosterone, high levels of estrogen, low vitamin D, low magnesium. Vitamin D, why would that have an effect on a migraine? Well, to me, it's because of its anti-inflammatory effect. Vitamin D does everything. It's a tremendous anti-inflammatory vitamin D. It's really important. Okay? Unlike any other vitamin. Well, maybe vitamin C, coffee. No, vitamin D, your body can't live without it. You'll never be healthy without optimal levels of vitamin D. You just can't be. If you're deficient in vitamin D, you're in trouble. I put it in what should be tested for metabolic syndrome. I think it's an 100% should be part of metabolic syndrome because it's so connected to insulin resistance too. Vitamin D. Okay. Dehydration. Okay. Dehydration. Hormones. Low vitamin D. And now I'm going to add one more and then we close. Consistently. What did I find? Low levels of B12. Almost not optimized. And if your blood tests show you, oh, my B12 is normal, well, that's for a mouse, not for you. What they call normal, remember, B12 testing is 100 years old. I wish we would have a birthday party for it and send it out to retirement. And change the numbers at least. If you're below 800, you're not optimized and you don't have enough B12. And B12 is one of the most essential vitamins. Your brain can't work without B12. Why do you think I want you to eat steak? You think I'm just kidding? B12 is found in the animal kingdom. Ooh, so many young girls, they used to come to my office. They were low in B12. And I said, do you not like steak? What? Dr. Martin, That's got cholesterol. That's got, you know, those things. Cows got eyeballs. I can't eat anything with eyeballs. Ugh. I used to get migraines from listening to that. Oh. Okay. You know what, guys? I would love to go into medical schools and teach them Nutrition 101. I wouldn't even need more than a day. Get them to understand some of these things. Hormones 101. Oh, anyway. Okay, guys. You guys are wonderful. More than wonderful. What an audience we have here at The Doctor Is In. I mean it. You guys are unreal. And join our private Facebook group because there's so much good goings-ons there. It's tremendous, okay? The feedback and just, you know, people asking questions. If you want your questions specifically asked too, by the way, send them into info@martinclinic.com, okay? That makes sure it gets to me. And because if you just post it here, good. But, you know, I don't see that stuff, okay? Because it goes by me way too fast, first of all, for me to even stop and read it. But send me questions, because tomorrow's Question and Answer Friday on info@martinclinic.com. Okay, thank you very much, guys. We love you so much. Talk to you soon.